Revival is here.
Welcome back to the Real Estate Revival podcast. I am thrilled to have this beautiful woman on here today to share her story and her faith and her strategies. When I first met Jessica Higdon, I thought she is way too beautiful to be this intelligent. She's way too sweet to know how to build something with strategy. And she has blown me away with her confidence, with her ability, with her heart that loves Jesus, and absolutely crushing it in the real estate profession. So thank you so much for joining me today, Jessica. Well, I'm very excited. I was thinking about you this morning, and I'm like thinking about, how I want to introduce you. And that's my first impression. I think this is going to sound silly, but the movie Legally Blonde, here was this beautiful, like peppy, very cheery girl, and she was underestimated at every turn. She turned out to be brilliant and hardworking and had strategy. And I kind of thought, I wonder if Jessica ever experienced that, because you are so beautiful, so kind, so pure-hearted, that I wonder if people have underestimated your ability to be out there in the world and be wildly
thank you,
successful.
Michelle. What an amazing introduction. I'm going to have to keep you in my pocket.
It is.
Yeah, what a great question. And again, appreciate the compliments. So kind, I receive. And I, not just in real estate, but in every entrepreneurial venture, I've had those roadblocks. And really, I think when you know who you are and you know who you are in Christ, you can overcome that very easily. It doesn't have to be hard. We make it hard. But the more that it happens to you, the more you realize that it's actually a power. It's something that you can use. It's not something that is meant to hold you back. And so I've used that ability of just extreme kindness and emotional intelligence, because in this business, especially, emotional intelligence will get you very, very far. So EQ versus IQ. My daughter comes home and shares with me math problems, and I have no idea how to do them. She's in fourth grade. Okay, so my IQ is probably not super high, but I have very high EQ, as I know you do as well, Michelle. And that serves you very well in this business. And when you have the ability to overcome people's walls and their guards against you, or even their stereotypes against you, like you said, underestimating. I've had that happen over and over again, where you put them in charge, right? Those people usually love control, and they want to be in charge, and they think, oh, I can over negotiate this girl or what have you. You allow them to do that. You allow them to run their programs, run their course, and eventually what happens is they become fond of you, and they start to want you to win. And that's what you want ultimately. Is I always want both people, when we're in negotiations or whether it's just a friendship, I want us both to win. And when you have that,
wow, I love that. I relate to so much of what you're sharing.
Easy. But yes,
and
I've had that happen.
So I'm gonna go backwards before we go forward. So prior to being involved in real estate, you were in the network marketing profession.
Oh, Jess, you're going to get eaten alive. They are sharks out there. They are nasty. They will lie to you. They will circumvent you. They will tell you things that aren't true and go around you.
Yes, I was a stylist and a makeup artist before I got into network marketing.
I definitely learned that the hard way. But you don't have to portray yourself as a shark to negotiate with a shark. In fact, just the opposite tends to be way more effective. Yes, correct. So I started at 21 years old. I was actually selling makeup at the makeup counter, which don't you have a similar story to that, don't you? Or were you selling? Yeah, so I mean, it's a people business, right? And I was much more shy than I am today, but always bubbly and always excited. And that business taught me that you always find something in common with someone and you compliment them. And those two things will get you in the door more so than how may I help you? What are you looking for today? You just find that common ground and then you compliment them. So I started in the makeup space, just doing people's makeup, doing weddings, started selling myself to do weddings and makeup for brides, and eventually was shown network marketing. And the model made so much sense to me that I thought, oh, I can do this. I do this pretty much every day. I talk to people every day. And the amount of underestimating, I was 21, I looked like I was 12. And the patronization that I got in those years, I think about
I
it now
heard,
and it
I listened
still
to a
like
snippet of a
bubbles
podcast
up this form of
recently with
embarrassment.
Ivanka
Like,
Trump,
oh, Jess,
Diary of a
you're so
CEO. I'm sure
cute.
you've heard of it, maybe
Oh,
probably listened to it.
sure, I'll buy
And
products
one
from
of the
you.
things
You're
she said
adorable,
was
which is not what you
she
want, right? Like,
uses
I
the
don't
way
want
that
you to
people
buy
underestimate
products from
her
me
as
because you
her
feel sorry
strategy.
for
And that
me or
I don't
because
think
I'm
she gets
this
underestimated
little girl
anymore.
trying to make
But when
it,
she
right? I
started
want
out,
you to take me
probably in real estate
seriously.
and construction because of her family's
So
business,
that was a learning lesson
people
too,
very
and I
much
think it's
underestimated
really
her
just being
ability.
thrown into
And
that rejection
that
over and
is
over
an
and over again in
advantage when
those types of businesses has really
when you're
helped
not
me
defensive about it, and you
today
realize that,
in the real estate world as
like
well.
you said, when you started out in network marketing, oh, you're just so cute. But really, I'm certain that you have learned how to, because you, by your nature is so pure that you are not, I would think that you're not easily offended. I would venture to guess that after all that you've walked through, the network marketing profession definitely creates a thick skin, and hopefully people keep a soft heart. You definitely have. And then to step into real estate, I'm certain that you've developed the skill of understanding, like you just said, letting people win, letting them feel as if I am the same. I like to create win-win scenarios, relationships, partnerships. I don't want to be the only one that wins. And I don't think it's fair that somebody else is the only one that wins when you're trying to collaborate. And you have certainly used that to your advantage, because I'll jump forward. You are wildly successful in real estate. So what pushed you to go from where you were very successful in the direct selling network marketing space to jumping into going, okay, I think I want to do real estate, or like I really feel called to do real estate?
Well, I think I know that COVID in and of itself caused many people to reflect on what they were doing and what they were doing with their lives, right? And it's not like I didn't feel that I was wasting my life or anything like that. I just felt like I was being called in a different direction. And at that time, I actually wasn't even a believer. And so it was just by the grace of God that He put that fire and that fervent desire in my belly to take the skills that I had learned from the network marketing space, because it really does. It's such a beautiful industry. Anybody can do it. Anybody can start it. It tends to get a bad rap, but at the end of the day, the model is brilliant, and it takes people from, just living in their own world, just doing what the world tells them to do day in and day out, to going out there and meeting people and getting rejected and exposing your flaws and exposing your weaknesses. And I mean, it is the most powerful self development program that you can put yourself through. And so there was so much that I had learned in that space. And during COVID, from from that success that we had created, my husband and I started running events to teach people how to create sales from home. And they took those events away from us, as we all know, right? They took the people interaction away from us and they put us all on screens. And while we're very blessed and grateful that we had those screens to do those events, that is not what I signed up for in this business. That is not what I wanted. That is not what I felt called to do. I loved being with people and interacting, and I go crazy if I have to stay behind a screen for more than an hour. I mean, literally, I just jones in to go meet somebody or be out and about. So they took events away from us, which was really what I found. Once that was removed, I had to reflect on, why am I doing this business? Because it was what I loved. That was the portion that I really loved. And so I had always been an investor when we started doing really well. And we definitely did not always do well. We have, definitely a rocky up and down trajectory and story. But when we started doing really well, I started investing in real estate and I found that I really loved it. And my husband would catch me like late at night looking at real estate, like porn. Okay. To this day, he calls it my real estate porn. Like I can't stop. Well, I love it.
Yes.
And I would shut my computer. Like, he's like, what are you doing? I'm like, nothing. I'm working on the other business, I swear. But I just loved real estate. And I thought, let me just get my license for our own investments, because I think I can do this, and we're paying a real estate agent. Let me just do it for our own investments. And so often now, looking back in hindsight, I find that God just takes you to the next step sometimes before you even see the full plan. And just those little steps takes you one step at a time. And I got my license, and I felt something in that room as I'm going through the class, like, okay, you're supposed to be here. And then little by little, I had a friend reach out to me and say, hey, like, I posted on Facebook, I got my license, I'm super excited. Hey, I hear you're doing real estate. Can you help me with this? Hi, I saw that you're doing real estate. Would you mind helping me with this? And at first I was scared, nervous. There's so much to learn in the first year. It's like a fire hose. You have to be an attorney and a therapist and a marketer and a designer and a stager and all the things at once. So I was so nervous to help other people. I didn't want to let them down. But I had an amazing friend who believed in me and gave me my first listing. And I learned a lot in that process, and it ended up going pretty well. And just step by step, I started helping more people, and it evolved into just
And we're going to get to that. So we're going to get to the specifics of your success and kind of where you're at in real estate. We're going to get to that. But in this process, so you jumped in 2020 when the world was flipping upside down, and you said one line in there, I wasn't a believer yet. So connect the dots for the people listening. As to like how did that come about? Where does that play a part in your story today? And even as you're talking, I can hear how God was guiding you even long before you had a personal relationship with him. It's exciting to look back and see that, I think. Oh no. Wow.
Oh, 1,000%. He's physically saved me so many times that I didn't see it. I mean, I was almost kidnapped as a young girl twice, which
Yeah, he was with
now
me.
we
He was
know,
with me, guiding me,
all the
protecting me.
trafficking and
I just
everything
think
that goes on. But I look back on
that
those
just
moments and how
fills
the
my
Holy
heart.
Spirit just spoke to me in those moments. That one tiny little different step, I wouldn't be here today. So yeah, it is. It's fun to look back on those moments and just see, wow, oh my gosh, he's been there the whole time. I just didn't see it. But uh yeah, absolutely. Amen. But Uh, well, first and foremost, me, like a lot of people, I think, looked at the world and said, this doesn't make sense to me in 2020. This is not a world that makes sense to me. And why is there so much evil? And if there's so much evil, then inherently, if you believe in
That's
evil,
okay.
you have to
Whatever you
believe in
feel.
good. There, one cannot exist without the other, right? So that was the kind of first eye opener, that the world is not what it seems. And I think a lot of people came to Christ because of just that realization alone, that, oh my gosh, the scales have been lifted from my eyes. The world is not what it seems. But I don't know how long of an answer you want to this question, but it's okay. So I actually came to Christ through New Age. And I think it's important to mention that because there may be some New Age or more spiritual women or men listening to this podcast, and many Christians, say, oh, you got to stop that. You got to stop doing that. It's horrible. And right or wrong with dabbling in the spiritual, if I hadn't gone through that process, I wouldn't have come to Christ. And so people who are in that realm are searching for a truth, and they just haven't found it yet. And they don't know that they haven't found it yet. But we had a friend. So first I said, okay, the world doesn't make sense. There's something going on beyond this, because I had been truly, I had been an atheist, just you see what you see, you sense what you sense, and that's it. And we had a friend that was spiritual, that had gone to a meditation retreat, that came to our house and said, hey, I went to this meditation retreat. They measured cells in a petri dish, and they found that these cells were being healed through what I didn't realize then was prayer, right? And that came from a very level-headed, reputable guy that we knew, and it just blew my mind, the things that he was sharing with me. So that led us down my husband and I both down a long rabbit hole of becoming more spiritual. Okay, there's something outside of me. There's something outside of myself that exists. One day I get a call from a friend of mine, and I had stopped speaking at this point. We had stopped our in-person events at this moment in time, and I really, the kids were little. They still are littler, and I was feeling like I really need to be home with my babies. I'm not going to speak. But I got a call from a friend who said, I'd really love you to come speak. It's in Nashville, and I'll pay you to be there. And I had always wanted to go to Nashville, and I was like, all right, you're my last speaking event that I'm going to do for now while I'm with my kids, my last one, but I'm going to go. I want to see Nashville. So actually the main MC had gotten sick and wasn't able to be there. So they replaced the MC with this gentleman who spoke. And I loved what he had to say. And he was a very hardcore believer. And to me at the time, that part didn't really resonate, but he had a similar story to Ray's. So I'm like, I got to get these two together. He's going to put some wisdom on his heart. I got to get these two together. So I come home from that event, and he had been pouring into me the whole time, and it kind of interested me a little bit. And I put him and Ray on a phone call thinking that this gentleman is going to tell Ray everything about business and what he's done and how he's been successful. And instead, all he talks to Ray about is how he sees a big vision for him and God. And all he talks to Ray about is Jesus. And so my husband gets off the call, and he's like, you didn't warn me about this guy. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, what did he say? And he starts telling me all the things that he said about Jesus and God, and he's confused. I can tell he's wrestling with this. Like, he's confused. And I'm like, what? Okay, well, just move on. Like, snap out of it. It's fine. Just so why are you so confused? I'm a more analytical person than my husband. He jumps in 2 feet first, 1,000%, and just goes all in. So he had a very profound experience that night. He met up with a pastor that he didn't know would be at this venue, and was saying the exact same things to him that same day that my friend had said on the Zoom call. Like, I see a big vision for you and God. So just it was not a coincidence. And he's just, now my husband is just all in. For me, it took a little more time. I needed to research. I needed to do some more historical digging into, is this true? Like, have what we've learned in school, has it all been a lie? Like, is this the truth? And the things that I
Wow.
uncovered,
And the two of you, you and your husband, Ray,
the encounters that
were
I had,
influential
that I
to
have
begin
on
with. You were
video, that I
influential
won't share
in
on
the
this
personal
podcast, but I
development
have
space, in the network marketing
crazy
space, in
things
the
on video
making
that
money from home
happened
space.
after
You were
this.
successful and influential in that space.
Just fell to my
And
knees and
I
gave my life
find
to
it
Jesus
so
and knew
awesome when God grabs a
that he was
hold
our
of
Lord,
people
true
that
Savior.
already have influence, because you're able to influence people that liked you, followed you, trusted you, in the same way that people in business do to influence you to buy a product, sort of. It's going to sound yucky, but it's true. And open their eyes that if these people that I trust, that I like, that I've followed, that I've gone to their events, that I've been listening to, if these people believe that Jesus Christ lived, born of a virgin birth, lived, died, and rose again, there must be something to it. And I think that God gets so excited when he can use people that already had a platform, and you've both been really profoundly used by God in the last number of years.
Thank you. No, I mean, look at how many people with a platform are
Yes,
coming
it completely changes
Jesus.
lives,
I mean,
and it's a beautiful
profound.
thing
It's a
to
true,
watch
this is the
people
Real Estate Revival
that,
podcast. It's a true
I mean, you guys were already,
of,
when you're in the personal development
what's
space,
happening. And it's,
which
like you
network
said,
marketing
it's
is like
really,
basically
really
personal development
exciting
wrapped
and
around a
encouraging
company,
to see.
I think.
And
But when you're in
changes your
that
life.
space, you're
Completely
already
changes your
working
life.
on yourself pretty regularly. It's what you do. You're introspective, you're trying to get better. But when you bring Jesus into that, it is so profoundly transformational, because and what you find, I'm sure you found this as you walk with the Lord, is just like continue to expand. So many of the principles around personal development are principles that are laid out in the Bible.
Mm. Oh, 1,000%. There's so many connections there, and it also gives you more energy to do the business, right? Like, there's so many instances and stories of merchants and people who were marketing and running businesses in the Bible, and you realize that we're put here to do those things, to meet the people, to have an impact in their lives, to spread the love of Jesus. And this knowing the truth gives you energy. It gives you excitement. It gives you a new renewed purpose to do that good work, because it becomes no longer about yourself. And I will tell you that for the first decade of this business, not that I didn't love people, I did, but, and I, loved impacting them, but ultimately I just did it for myself. It's like, it's kind of before you become a mom, you're like, you realize how selfish you were. You didn't think you were selfish at the time, but you realize, like, oh my gosh, I was all about me. And then you become a mom and you're like, oh my gosh, nothing else matters but my kids.
That is right. We could do a whole podcast around that, because there's a whole mentality about hard things and how
it becomes freeing and exciting.
People have been so indoctrinated to believe that hard is bad, or hard is a closed door, or hard, I can't do hard.
It doesn't have
and
to
that's
be stressful.
everything about that is contradictory to being a believer. Everything about that mentality is contradictory to being a believer. But so okay, I'm jumping around a little bit. You got into real estate in 2020. You became a believer in 2010. 22-ish, or was it 21? Okay. Okay. I remember because when Ray did that podcast, I got 1,000 messages from people about, it wasn't a podcast, it was a YouTube video, I think. And so I got 1,000 messages. So I remember when he did that. And so now, Jessica,
No,
you are in
yeah.
real estate, you're in the luxury market, you are wildly successful and crushing it in business. So did you choose to go in that direction? Is that the plan that God had you on? Can you like connect the dots? So you started in 2020, like, as you said, first year, scary, you don't know anything. Luckily, you have great people around you. How do you go from that to being wildly successful in the luxury market? Yes.
Well, I talked about mentorship, and I think in anything that you do, we're so wired to not ask for help in anything, right? Like we got this. We don't need help. That's why when you have Jesus to ask help for, it's like, I can breathe. We're so wired to just do it on our own. And I cannot stress enough how important, especially in real estate, mentorship is. And it's really the fast path. It's not cheating. It's not something where you're less worthy of it because you had help. It is absolutely the fast path. And so here's how God worked in our lives. Not only did we had cultivated an audience and had cultivated friendships and had cultivated business partnerships here locally that that had started asking me for help around real estate. So that definitely helped. But when we bought our dream home in Naples, and we were just so blessed and able to do that. And in that process, the listing agent was this woman named Lynn Hurley. And she was just wonderful. She was sweet, she cared, she got the job done, and she was true luxury. Like when you think of luxury real estate, I mean, she had it all together and knew exactly how to sell the home at the right price, had everything perfectly done. And so I didn't think anything of it when we bought the home from her. We just, we're very grateful for her, and that was that. Well, first, full circle, after I get my license, I just felt nudged to reach out to her and ask her, hey, I would love to learn from you. I would love to learn from you. And I'm sitting there, I invited her over to our house, and I'm sitting there with her in my office at the time. And I just feel this presence from the Holy Spirit. Like, I think this happens for people maybe 3 to 5 times in their life. And I just feel the presence from the Holy Spirit saying, you need to work with her. You're meant to work with her. You need to pursue this. And so at this time, I had transitioned into being a believer, and I was like, okay, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to just take it one step at a time. And so we started working together. I started being her mentee underneath her and just learning the ropes of luxury real estate, because I just thought, I just knew I don't want to be the one to sell 100 homes in a year. That to me, unless it's a team, that to me sounds like an absolute nightmare. I would much rather sell a $20 million home than 20 $1 million homes, or 40 $500,000 homes. It's the same amount of work to sell one. Why not go for the big luxury, uber luxury market? Why not just start there? And the reason people don't do that is 2 reasons. One, you're not called to do that. If you pray and you're not called to do that, and you're meant to stay, let's say, in the short sale market or in the Section 8 housing market, or there's a market for every level, and there's a place where you're called to in every market, and you can make tons of money in all of them. So number one, you're not called to it. Number two, and you really have to prayerfully ask yourself this, is that people just don't believe they can do it. They don't believe that they resonate with those people. They didn't come from money. They think that they are just that it's demeaning to them because they wouldn't know what to say or how to act or how to sell. Or they don't understand their world. And that is such a disservice to you, because these people, the uber luxury market, the buyers and sellers, they are the most wonderful, for the most part, not all, but that's in everything, the most wonderful, the most quick decision making, the most easygoing people, for the most part, in the world. You do occasionally get those, for lack of a better term, you know what I'm going to say. you get those people that just drive you up a wall and you want to quit the business, right? Like, you do get those. But when you come from a place of service and you know that you're meant to help them, it again renews your energy and it helps you get through it. But the uber luxury market, they are fantastic people, and you get to create great experiences together, because they invite you to things. They invite you over to their movie theater. They invite you on their boats. They invite your kids to have those experiences. And you would never have experienced that otherwise if you had kept yourself small. So I mentored under her, and I started building my arsenal of clientele, but also learning what to do to serve them. And it was not easy. It definitely takes consistency. It takes a lot of study. And, in network marketing, you can just kind of be ignorance on fire. You should not and cannot do this in this business, because we're dealing with, sometimes this is the largest asset that somebody will ever own. It's the largest purchase of their life. So just going through that process with her, I learned how to deal with those things. And, I've been sued. And that was fun. My first time being sued, right? Like, through this process of learning and understanding how this works, it's been a journey, but now I can say
It's really,
I'm so grateful. I didn't
bird's eye view on my end. It's really awesome to hear your story, starting off, serving people. And we do have similar journeys. Everything we've done has been in service of other people. I feel like people with that heart, you're called to serve people, period. And you can be plucked into any number of different professions and continue to serve people. But it's really beautiful from a bird's eye, perspective, to see you started off serving people by helping them to feel beautiful and, give them that extra confidence, then into network marketing, helping them to create something beautiful financially, personal development, which impacts, relationships and everything. And now working with this ultra luxury market. I mean, it's a beautiful journey for me to be able to see with you and how God has used you. God, if you're listening to this, God wants to use you in any profession. He wants to use you in any profession. Specifically with real estate, though, like, this is 100% commission job, and you work for free until you get the buyer or the seller what they want. And sometimes you don't. So you've worked for free and there's nothing in it. And so the entire business of real estate is wrapped so much around faith that I feel being a believer gives you a massive advantage.
Oh, absolutely. And also praying over your properties. Right. I mean, there's so many agents who don't pray over the property. Every listing that I take, I walk the property and I pray over it, whether they believe or not, is irrelevant. I pray over the property. I mean, it can't hurt, right? So I don't ask permission. I just go in and I pray over the property. I go through the rooms when I'm sitting in an open house. I cast out any spirits that aren't meant to be there, and tell them to be judged at Jesus' feet, and pray that the Holy Spirit just fills the room and brings the right person for this property that you want to enjoy and create experiences for your glory and with love. We get to do that. That's really exciting. And we get to create, literally, we're creating a memory and experiences with these families. So these are where people are going to have amazing memories. So it's fun. It's really, really fun. Things go wrong. Not going to lie to you, things go wrong. And as someone who was a people pleaser for a long time, this not only network marketing, but this business has definitely worked that out of me. And my husband said something to me that I never forget every time I have to make a difficult call. And he said, you have to get over the fear of looking bad. And so many of us carry the fear of looking bad. And when you go into those calls and you have to deliver some bad news sometimes, deals fall apart, people get angry, it can be very emotional. But when you go into it with no fear of looking bad and just being honest and sincere, amazing things come together. And I've had, and this is not to toot my own horn, but just to share the beauty and the promises of God. I've had so many people say, and these are people who have worked with agents their whole life. I mean, this is their 50th home they've bought. That you are the best agent I've ever had. And it's not because I got them the best deal. And it's not because the deal went perfectly. It's because I went the extra mile to serve them. I took care of the cleaning bill when they moved in, or I had their favorite bottle of wine sitting on the counter, or I had their grandchild's name sewn into a new beach bag that they can bring for their new beach home. Those little things, it makes all the other stuff just disappear. And the referrals and the people that you're going to meet from that,
when you're,
the business you're going to get,
when you
that's
approach real estate, anything, difference. But specifically real estate, with a heart of purity and taking on this attitude that Jessica is sharing with you, that, I am serving them. And my mindset is always that I am representing Jesus in everything that I do. Everything that I do. If I'm driving in my car in bad traffic, if I'm rushed and feeling frustrated with life and having to interact with people, I am representing Jesus. And so how am I representing him? And it's not like you're wearing like a hat every day that says it. It's in who you are and what you do. And I call that lifestyle evangelism. The way that you live your life, the way that you serve others, the way that you show up in excellence. It is evangelizing in this really impeccable way. Like you said, you go and you pray at the property, you pray at the open house. It's not like you're putting it on social media. People don't know you do that. But what they know is what they feel and what they see in interacting with you. I would venture to guess your clients tell you that they have had more peace about their decisions because of working with you and because of your attitude of service and serving God and praying over it and like surrendering it to God. I would venture to guess that people talk about how much more joy they had in their experiences working with you as a realtor. And if you're listening to this, this is the privilege that you have of bringing this into your real estate career. And Jessica, you have been a tremendous, remarkable example of that. And as we kind of get to the backside of this, I would love it if you would, and you've already shared so many nuggets. You're a natural teacher. And so it comes out as you're sharing stories, and you've already shared so many tips and nuggets, but if you could get specific. So you're listening to somebody, let's do two things. First, let's talk to the person that maybe they want to get into the luxury market, and like, what would be the first step? So that question, and then you talk to any real estate agent. How can they go from, whatever they're doing now to like doubling it or even 10xing it? And the last thing I'll say was just a comment that I should have said before, but you being a mother of two still very young kids at home, working in the luxury market actually gives you leverage, which I think that is a brilliant decision on your part. And I don't know if you did that intentionally, but like you said, instead of doing 40 deals a year, you could do 2 deals a year, make the same, on your end, your commission side of it, and still have a life, with your family and your children. So I know I rolled out a lot there, but I would love to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. It was very intentional. It's just the way that my brain works. I've always been to be honest, I've always been like ambitiously lazy. Like I want to get the most amount for the least amount of effort possible. And that doesn't always work out. I'm not saying it does, but when you do it strategically through leverage, and you can do that, you either have time or money, right? Like, so if you can hire people to do things that create more leverage, or figure out a strategy that creates more leverage for your business. And I learned this a lot from clients too. Some of the most wealthy people in the world, they don't work 24/7 anymore. You know, they had to get there, but they have figured out leverage big time. They just surround themselves with people better than them. So even in school, like, you know, I was like, okay, how can I study the least amount of time to get the best grade? That's just how my mind works. So yeah, it was very strategic, and I have small kids, so that's of course first and foremost for me after God is my family. If I were to give specifics on jumping into the luxury market, first, find a mentor who's doing what you want to do. And I don't mean a mentor who is drinking every night because they're bombarded with terrible clients, because you'll find that in this industry too. I mean, mentor who has developed enough people underneath them, or who you see is doing a really, really beautiful job and just needs a little help. Those two types of leaders to dive under and just learn as much as you can from. And you just pick up the phone and you call them and say, hey, do you need any help? This is where I excel. This is what I'm willing to do. I would love to have lunch with you, take you to lunch, take you to coffee, and pick your brain and find out where your holes are and how I can help you and learn from you, because you are doing a phenomenal job. So that would be step one. Step two is going where luxury people go. You have to immerse yourself in that culture. It doesn't mean you have to spend $50,000 for a yacht club membership, but in church, in book clubs, in different hotels and places that you can go and hang out around those places and meet those people. It's just like any business. You have to go where your target market is and network with them. And asking the people you know already, who do you know that's looking to buy or sell a home? I recently got my license, but this was a great line that I used. I recently got my license, but I'm working with one of the top teams in the Naples, Florida area. And I'm working with some of the top agents that know this specific type of real estate, whether that's, custom home, new construction, or, Pelican Bay, high-end market. I'm working with the top people here. Do you know anyone that's looking to buy or sell a home? And you leverage their success already. And then as you do a few deals, you can start getting into farming, which is just marketing to the same area, physical mailers. I've recently started kind of playing with video cards. Now they're expensive, but when you're passing out video cards to $10 million homes, $5+ million homes, one listing, takes care of all of that for you. So as you start getting more deals, start reinvesting in your business and start just marketing the same area over and over and over again. And people think that, you have to spend all this money just to give them physical mailers. No, send them a physical mailer and then friend them on Facebook. Send them a physical mailer and get in the community Facebook group. I'm in all those community Facebook groups. They don't know that I don't live there. They have no idea. There's over 3,000 residents in there. How are they going to know? So get in those community Facebook groups and start just making yourself known and getting out there. And then eventually you can start spending a little more money on your business. But that's first and foremost, to get in the uber luxury market, find a mentor that's already doing it. And
really just great. So many things in there that would apply even outside of the luxury market. So thank you for that. That's amazing. And then lastly, if you're listening or you're talking to somebody that they just want to take their business to the next level, regardless of the market that they feel called to, like what is your top thing that you would tell them here that you should be doing this today?
You should be marketing to expireds, withdrawns, and terminated listings. You should be marketing to them. you should be friending them on Facebook. I have a real estate coach, and she told me to go to Ben Verified, which is a site that gets you not only their phone numbers, but their social medias, everything. Like, get them in your circle. If you want to triple your business, you have to get laser focused on the market that you're going after. And the best place to start is where you already have a story. So if you don't, just like in network marketing, right? If you don't have a story, leverage someone on your teams or someone that you're working with or partnering with, or get with a colleague that's in the same boat, and you're like, okay, we're going to start helping each other. But I would start where you have a story and just get laser focused on that neighborhood and start just hammering with marketing, Facebook, in their groups, reaching out to them, say, with a message. And you have to be careful with solicitation. So I personally don't call. I know there are top agents who do call. And they have some success with that. But I like to send them a Facebook message and just get them in my world and hit them with marketing pieces and just keep dripping on them. And I've been yelled at before. But I just kill them with kindness, and it 9.9 times out of 10, I think I only had one lady who was not happy, but 9 times out of 10, they'll come back and say, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I've just been bombarded with all of these agents who are just calling me and I didn't know that you were just doing that. And I say, no problem, but thanks for getting back to me. And if you know anybody, just let me know. So it works. It definitely works. Just get laser focused on what your specialty is and share the journey with them.
Jessica, you are remarkable in every way. And thank you so much for your time. Thank you for all of the wisdom that you've shared. And I just really, really appreciate you. So thank you for giving us this time today.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you for having me on. And I'm so excited for your real estate team and what you guys are doing.
You've been listening to the Real Estate Revival Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to share this podcast with somebody else who needs to be encouraged. If you'd like information about how to work with myself and my husband Bobby, head over to www.bobbyandmichelle.com. We would love to work with you.